Well, joining the show this week is Representative Tom Tiffany. Thanks so much for the time here.
Yeah, good to join you, Lance.
So Title 42 has expired. More than 11,000 migrants crossed the southern border just on Tuesday this week. What is the long-term solution?
The long-term solution is to pass the Secure the Border Act, which we're doing this week out of the House of Representatives. Senate should take it up, pass it, send it to President Biden. And President Biden should take leadership here and signal to Democrats, let's get this done, because that's ultimately what can secure the border.
You mentioned the Secure the Border Act. Obviously, that does take steps to secure the border, but should it come hand in hand with immigration reform?
The first thing so we need immigration reform, but first we need to secure the border, and then figure out the levels of immigration that we want in America. We've always welcomed people here in America, and then we can get those levels and types of immigration that are going to benefit America the most. And that's really what it should be all about, is what's best for America and Americans.
Do you believe a border wall would be effective?
The border wall has been proven to be effective. My first trip in Congress was almost 3 years ago down to Cochise County in Arizona, and the sheriff down there, Sheriff Mark Daniels, he shared how the border wall was being built down there, and they were putting in place other interdiction measures, and they had really gotten control of the flow of illegal immigration. And Sheriff Daniels said, the wall works. Takes more than just the wall, but the wall really helps.
The other big headline right now, obviously, there is still no agreement on the debt ceiling. The president has criticized the Republican bill that came up. Among his concerns, he says it will cut benefits for veterans. Do you share those concerns?
I usually don't say it this strongly, Lance, but that is a lie. We will not cut veterans' benefits as a result of the bill that we passed out of the House. And by the way, we're the only ones that have passed a bill, us in the House of Representatives, to deal with the debt limit. It's in the Senate's hands at this point, and almost all Republicans are saying to Senator Schumer, let's get this done. Let's pass this bill because it's responsible. It gives President Biden the additional money that he's asking for in regards to the debt limit in exchange for making sure that we go on a fiscally responsible path. Americans know that the federal government has a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse. We can get rid of some of that waste and get America back onto a path of fiscal responsibility.
Well, this has sort of become a negotiation now between the president and the speaker. What is the status of those negotiations when it comes to the debt ceiling?
As we speak here, Speaker McCarthy has said that I'm willing to talk to the president anytime. As I mentioned just a minute ago, we're the ones in the House of Representatives that put forth a bill that actually deals with raising the debt limit. And it's really up to Senator Schumer and to President Biden at this point. And I think it's really important for people to remember, we do not have a revenue problem here in Washington, D.C. We have a spending problem. We have more money coming in than ever here to Washington, D.C. We need to deal with the spending.
When it comes to this debt ceiling, what is the next step? Are you willing to stand your ground at this point as a Republican Party?
Oh, I think our Republican Party should. One thing, now this is not leadership's position, but something I would offer. An alternative for the increase of $1.5 trillion for the next year that President Biden wants, if he would sign the Secure the Border bill to secure the border, I would advocate for that. I think there are a few trade-offs that are involved there that we could come to an agreement, but it's got to be something substantial. The American people need to get something for this additional credit card that President Biden's asking for.
Have you reached a point where you have serious concern that there might actually be a default here?
I think the issue of default is being thrown out by the administration to scare the American people. This is all about prioritizing how you're going to spend. There's no reason for a default to happen. You pay the things that you have to first, like making sure you pay the interest on your debt, and making sure that those things that are important that you make sure and prioritize. There's no reason for there to be talk of default. It's just meant to scare the American people and scare members into Congress into saying, yeah, let's just give another blank check to more spending out here in Washington, D.C., which has led to the high cost of living and the inflation that has been happening here in America. It's time to be fiscally responsible.
You bought the domain name for TomTiffanyForSenate.com. Have you decided if you're going to be running against Senator Tammy Baldwin next year?
No, I have not. I mean, I am very busy between natural resources and the Judiciary Committee. We have a full load that we are dealing with at this point. There'll come an appropriate time, probably this summer, to consider that. I'm always going to do where I believe I can most help the people of the state of Wisconsin. We'll make that decision at some point in the future.
You were recently at an event here in Wisconsin where you introduced Governor Ron DeSantis. Will you back him if he runs for president?
Whoever the nominee is for the Republican Party, that's who I'm going to support. This is really about the people of the Republican Party. It's about conservatives and who they choose. It isn't my decision to make, and I really defer to my constituents and people across the state of Wisconsin and America. They're going to choose who we're going to have as a nominee. But boy, we're going to have a great chance in 2024 to be successful. When you look at the failures of the Biden administration, border wide open, we've lost our energy independence, the high cost of living with inflation, crime still a real problem in America. There's been a lot of failures by the Biden administration. Whoever our nominee is, I'm going to support them, and we're going to go win in 2024.
Fellow Republican George Santos has been indicted on 13 federal charges this week. Should he resign?
That's really up to his constituents and to George Santos. I mean, they're the ones that elected him. They're going to have to decide what happens with Mr. Santos.
Representative Tiffany, I want to thank you for the time here again this week.
Yeah, good to be with you, Lance.